This Taurus new moon is all about stamina, determination, security, self-authority. This is a fixed sign Tsquare with Mars and Pluto, an energy of permanence, intensity, transformation, purging, and I am going to tell you all about it in this video, as well as some of the gentle, easy, more pleasurable ways that the planets are showing up that we have to look forward to. As always, I'm going to give the general summary of what is actually going on at the time of this new moon. This applies to all signs, and there will be timestamps just to skip through some of the pieces if you would like to. Then you'll get the sign by sign, which really just lets you know where in your life this is showing up, and do check your sun, moon, and rising and combine all three to get a better sense of how this is showing up in your life. If you were born between 1983 and 1995, or you have any planets or angles from 0 to 7 degrees in the fixed signs of Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius, this full moon is going to impact you more than others. But everyone is going to feel waves of this fixed energy that is here to lock something in. Since our full moon in Libra, and for that one, people born in 1980 to 1982 might have felt the energy from that the most, because that full moon was conjunct natal Pluto's for people born between 1980 and 1982. That includes me, and in my personal experience, the emotional purging was deep. It was painful. It was the type of emotional purging that felt like it was so much my body couldn't actually contain or even handle moving that much pain through. But I did. And after 7 hours of crying and grieving everything in my life, really, I did come out of that with a lighter energy and more tolerance for things that have been just generally getting on my nerves. So there was a piece of empowerment and strength that came out of that. And I wanted to bring back that full moon because I think there are others who went through varying degrees of emotional pain with the Libra full moon that we just had. And in some ways, the similarity of Pluto activation in this new moon, the general Pluto-Mars opposition that we've been going through, is doing this for everyone. And this new moon is adding an extra layer to that, adding an extra piece of the story that is really going to matter in each of our individual lives for topics around self versus greater good. With Mars in Leo, and this is the second time around. Mars was retrograde in Leo at the end of last year. And so now for the second time in a short distance, because Mars typically takes a couple of years to go around the whole zodiac. But this year we have had a double taste of Mars in Leo. And in Leo, we're talking about what it means to be authentically ourselves, what self-expression is. On a radical side of that could end up in something that looks a little over egotistical or set in their ways. On the underside of that, it could be someone who is completely unable to authentically express. And maybe there are a lot of similarities in both, but it can be embodying a persona that is not actually an authentic expression of self. We have all of these personas that we need to put on to get things done in the world and to be heard and received by other people. This is a moment with Mars in Leo that we went over some lessons. We purged some family-related pain when Mars was in Cancer this year. And we got emotional and watery with what it means to feel nurtured in our lives. Now, perhaps with a new level of self-nurturing and letting go of expectations of the past, this Tsquare with the new moon, Mars, and Pluto is packing a punch of bringing authentic selves forward. This Mars in Leo could have a layer of arrogance or a layer of knowing it all and what is best for everyone, which is Pluto and Aquarius. We could see some of the darker psychological layers of Aquarius, which could be the newness of the way that our world is going with AI. It could be things that need to be released in order to really have this individuation, yet connection of selves in society, and working together to create a world where we do have the freedom to be unique. We do have the freedom to do what we want on an individual level and make that all work with society and with what works for everyone involved. I really like that Mars and Neptune are in trine, and Neptune has just entered into Aries, which is Mars' sign. So there's some lovely collaboration that is creative, spiritual, intuitive. This Neptune-Mars trine looks to me like we are getting divine inspiration. We are connecting to an energetic source that is giving us some of the answers. This is wonderful energy to be creative. Mars is quick. Mars in a fire sign like Leo is especially quick, and Neptune being in Aries, which is another fire sign. So we could get these quick spiritual and intuitive ideas and downloads that really help whatever we are kicking off under this Taurus new moon. This, more than any new moon, because of that piece, is a wonderful time to take a time out and meditate, really go inward and connect with what matters to you. This is going to be such an individual process for all of us. This isn't an answer that we can get from someone else. This is really getting so strong and clear on what we want out of life and moving towards that with discipline and stability. And Taurus is an energy that is slow, as well as all of these fixed signs. They are called fixed signs because there's impression of lack of movement. It is so stable with Taurus that it sees things through from A to B to C, whatever that process is, because of that slow stability. When we get in touch with that layer within us that we are so certain of who we are, then that can be unflappable from others. This is not something that someone can come in and take away from us or disturb our plans. It could be this ingredient that is what helps us merge better towards the ideas that are for the greater good in Aquarius, what Pluto is trying to do with purging more of the societal pain and problems. Maybe from trying to move forward too quickly. Maybe from trying to have everything for humankind be taken over and made easier for us. Maybe there are some steps that we need to take to continue to do things the slow and stable way, like Taurus. So situations could show up in each of our lives to show us where these pieces are. Where can we slow down and be more authentic and be more real and just do the hard work? And where can we use the advancements of today's day and age to connect and move quicker and be efficient and do what's good for everyone and merge in those ways? Uranus in Taurus is also sending lovely angles to the nodes, and we have Venus direct and Mercury direct. So we are full steam ahead, even though this Tsquare is in a slow and steady part of the chart for all of us. We have this forward momentum of the planets now. Whatever has been going on since last September, October, up until now, there have been a lot of retrograde planets, and the energy has been more about recalibrating what we need to on the inside and on an individual level. It's sometimes the work that is less visible on the outside. And now that we have all of the planets direct, it is time to take that action. As always, do wait maybe even 5 days after a new moon to really set things in motion. The new moon is always a time to be still and ramp up to what we're building without burning ourselves out too much or going in too fast and too soon. However, Tsquares can be events that happen externally that help us in that direction, or at the very least, help us see which direction we really need and want to go in. If you are feeling called to an astrology reading and would like to process more of this moon cycle with me, I will link my website in the description below. And now let's get into your sign. Hi, Leo. You are one of the signs where this moon could really pack a punch. And in Taurus, this has to do with your career, your reputation. This is a brand new beginning, and opportunities could show up that really transform how you are in this world. Your partnerships could transform as a result. This is a time where partnerships can feel extra transformational. Partnerships in work, particularly, partnerships of all kinds, though. It could be a romantic partnership that changes your status, that changes your reputation, that somehow changes your work, or it can be work that has effects on this. And the piece to think about is when the opportunity for psychological transformation shows up, it is going to help your public image overall. It's going to help your status, your reputation, and your career. Mars in your sign can have you feeling extra fiery. You can be feeling really motivated. Definitely a great time to use this motivation, take action where you want to, especially related to career and relationships. Allow painful transformations to happen if that's what's going on. It's something that I always feel passionate about, to help minimize pain in life where we can. But sometimes just the acceptance of purging and releasing when it comes to Pluto activations is the best thing we can do, to just give space to nurture and have that experience be there and realize the benefits of emotional purging and how that can create positive transformations for you, especially with relationships, because that is where Pluto is going to be for the next couple of decades for Leo risings. And really, if you are a Leo sun or moon as well, this is still going to have a relationship transformation component to it. If you are experiencing unexpected shockwaves, these are likely more pleasant ones in your 10th house with Uranus in trine and sextile to the nodes. This has been going on for a while, and this to me promises that whatever changes are happening, whatever unexpected transformations are happening with your reputation and work and career and status, that ultimately this is favorable energy for where you are going in the world. And Mars is giving you the gusto and the energy and the braveness, which Leos already have, but you're feeling more like you can step in to that Leo lioness part of yourself, that being authentic doesn't always mean being loud. It doesn't always mean taking the back seat. Being authentic is going to be a unique expression for each person, and this is a wonderful time to practice what that feels like to you. How visible do you want to be? That's another question to ask under a Taurus new moon that's in your 10th house of visibility and reputation. With visibility, of course, there's responsibility to that. So those are some of the questions that you might be thinking about and processing, and it's good to weigh what the consequences mean of taking on new positions, and especially if public visibility is part of what you're taking on. Neptune is now in your ninth house. And if you would like more information on this 14-year transit, I will leave the link to my Neptune and Aries video in the description below. But this is in beautiful trine with Mars in your first house. So you more than other signs, are exceptionally open to new creative ideas, new spiritual beliefs. And this could be part of career and public visibility changes for you too, but wonderful time to take action on the intuitive downloads that you're getting, or just the ways that your beliefs and the way that you view the world is changing. This could have to do with visas, international travel, foreign places, foreign people. This could be spiritual pilgrimages. This could be just new higher education. A teacher could come into your life that has a lot of spiritual wisdom to share or helps you with your creative juice. And you could be the one teaching as well. If you're the one teaching, this can be an energy of Mercury. Luckily is direct, but this could be some confusing energy as far as how you're coming across. So keep that in mind too, Leo, that if energy shows up where you are being misunderstood in the public image, this is an opportunity to clear things up. And it's in that process that people get to see who you really are and get to understand you even better and in a new way. So don't be too worried if things feel a bit messy. For some of you, not for everyone, of course, but this energy has the potential to show up in so many different ways. So I just wanted to emphasize that, because when Neptune is involved and there's this sort of external events and certainty happening with a Tsquare in the new moon, especially with Mars and Pluto, we really need to prepare ourselves for absolutely anything and everything that could happen and roll with it. Just know that sorting through the mess, being forced to make a decision, being forced out of our comfort zone, being forced into a new reputation, or choosing any of these things, it could be an uncomfortable new beginning, but it is going to be so worth it. And it is moving through whatever comes our way, especially if it's challenging, that actually gives us the best opportunity and skill afterwards. And in your case, it could have to do with really helping other people understand who you truly are. And that's going to help you get ahead in relationships and get ahead with career. I hope this is going really well for you, Leo. Thank you so much for being here, watching and liking and subscribing. If you would like to understand more about your personal chart, check out my booking link in the description below, and I will see you next time. Hi, Virgo. This is a ninth house new moon for you. So this is all about foreign places, foreign people, travel, spiritual pilgrimage, new teachers coming into your life, being a teacher yourself. This is spiritual pursuits and really anything that is about you forming new belief systems of the world. How does the world work from your perspective? There could be a development that comes along that is more certain, more fixed. There's a determination and a brave pursuit of moving forward in a part of your life that has to do with these topics. And your 12th house and 6th house. So this is work, transformation. The 12th house, again, is spiritual transformation and changes and faraway places that are removed from society, places like churches and monasteries. And there is some crossover with the 9th house, but the 12th house is more about rest and retreat. And the 9th house is about the active pursuit. The 12th house is about meditation and taking in celestial and clairvoyant and meditative information. And the 6th house is about putting it into practice, putting it into service, into something that matters, into something that can actually help people. This is where the Tsquare is happening for you. And it could be an important teacher that comes into your life that opens up a gateway for spiritual transformation. And in some way, this changes your work, your routines, your habits, what you do with your day-to-day life and your health and how you are of service to other people. Mars and Pluto here can have you feeling very passionate, very ready to make concrete decisions and big moves when it comes to your higher learning and maybe some actual overseas transformations for some of you, especially as it connects to work and what you do in this world and your daily activities and habits. It does look very spiritual for a lot of Virgos out there, and there's likely to be somebody coming in to help you. It's at least help you change your perspective, be on a trajectory for a new belief system, and maybe teaching others this, what you have been absorbing and downloading as well. Neptune's creative influence towards Mars during this new moon for you is the 8th house of Aries, where Neptune is. And this is creative ideas that come from other people. This is other people's resources that are helping you out. Now that Mercury and Venus are direct, and Mercury is now in your 8th house with Neptune, Venus is still in your 7th house at the time of this new moon, but there could be the 7th and 8th house have to do with partnerships. They have to do with other people supporting you and other people's resources that help you along. So if you are planning something overseas or you're working on spiritual projects of any kind, maybe you're working on meditation and transformation of your psyche, and that could be 8th house stuff too with Neptune here. But it still looks like there's likely other people that are involved in this, that you're not just meditating on your own in your bedroom, that people are coming in to support you in this process. And there's some integrating from other people's resources that can help what you are doing with your spiritual process. Mars in your 12th house is a dissolving energy. So something can dissolve with other people, with partnerships, maybe even with a teacher or a type of teaching. An old belief system could be replaced by something that you feel divinely guided or have received in a meditation on your own. This is because Virgos have Leo in the 12th house. There's a sense of you and your connection to the divine that's very strong, that Leo is an autonomous energy. And so when it comes to 12th house stuff, like connecting with the divine and connecting with all that is, you've got this on your own. You don't need other people. But under this new moon, there is an element of either letting go of some of those connections that have been influencing your spiritual process or connections overseas, or bringing in new people, or both. Sometimes some leave and new come in, and that just creates the space for and opportunity for change. Something unexpected could be developing with your beliefs and how you view the world, and teaching and having teachers or teaching yourself because of Uranus's presence here. And Uranus is wrapping up a longer stay in Taurus. Also been in a longer standing trine and sextile, even at the last new moon with the nodes, which means that there are unexpected blessings that are helping us go in the direction that our soul is trying to go. And that's what the nodes are. The lunar nodes are balancing where we have been, what tools we have acquired in the past, and what we are trying to develop as a soul. And these are overarching, very important themes for the daily transits, what happens in a day-to-day life, and what the bigger purpose of having these things unfold really is. So this is another highlighted moment where you could start to see what is helping in the background and where you are trying to get to, and what some of this more intense clearing of this new moon could potentially be all about, or if circumstances are changing from the outside for you, what is the bigger picture with the nodal axis? And for you, that is in self and partnership. So there's yet another layer of this self-autonomy, letting go in some ways for Virgos, because the South Node is in your sign. So you might have to let go of parts of yourself that you have identified with and that you felt were helping, but might be blocking from the partnerships or receiving some support. Sometimes there could be a sense of thinking that you can do everything on your own and not needing others. And that could be the very thing that's blocking the support coming in. Some of the events happening could have a flavor of that, where it's showing you that you can let other people in, that they might not do it as well as a Virgo, but the support is still going to be really helpful. And they might be able to add other energies that really balance the Virgo energy out, which is the attention to detail and being able to map out a project and really see how pieces work together. And Virgos can sometimes get overwhelmed by the big picture, though. So having someone who can come in, and especially fixed sign energy, like what is highlighted at this new moon with Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius. These are energies that just, especially Taurus, one step at a time, and really help the follow through of a project, which Virgo can sometimes be missing. Keep an eye open for who you want on your team, Virgo. Mercury, your ruler, and Venus being direct now can really help support that. And you've probably been getting clearer on what you need, and you'll really notice when that right help comes along. Thank you so much for being here, Virgo. I hope you are enjoying this journey of self and other, but at this full moon, this is really a game changer for your belief systems, overseas travel, overseas places, meditation, spiritual retreats, a spiritual transformation overall for lots of Virgos out there. And it is always different with your personal chart. If you would like to have a breakdown of that with me, check out my website link in the description below. And thank you so much for being here, watching this video, listening, liking, subscribing, and I will see you next time. Hi, Libra. This is an 8th house new moon for you, and this Tsquare is happening in your 8th, 11th, and 5th. This is about support from other people. This is about psychological transformation, resources that help you out from others. And with Mars opposing Pluto in your 11th and 5th house, this is friends, networks. What is fun for you? What is fit? The 5th house is the Leo house. So this is just flipped of the Leo and Aquarius axis. And so there's extra emphasis of what is good for the greater good and what is good for you, what is really an authentic match in the communities and networks that you're a part of. It could come from a moment of deep psychological change, transformation, a type of death and rebirth for yourself and for your psyche. It could be that resources show up that you've been needing to start a community or new group that really aligns with something that is fun for you. The lunar nodes are now in the axis of 6th and 12th house for you. So work and the direction that you're going in with your service to others, health, your daily habits. This is also a Venus-Saturn conjunction here with the North Node. So this 6th house is quite lit up, and I will link my North Node in Pisces video in the description below. And that is going to give you more information about this 6th house stuff that has been really activated, and just an important piece of the story for you. There is some beneficial energy coming from financial support, resources in general from other people, and any psychological changes that you've been going through. This is helping your health. This is helping your work. This is maybe helping let go of dissociation and in a disconnect from life for you because of the South Node in your 12th house. The 12th house is also where we dissociate and where we are not connected to the earthly realm and earthly matters. And there's a tendency to do that when life is painful and uncomfortable. Because this moon has such a theme of purging, this is definitely a time when you, more than other signs, could be emotionally purging and releasing some pretty big stuff when the 8th house is activated. And definitely, if you've been working through health stuff, will help your health, your routines, how you engage with the world, and how you engage with service in a way that really matters to you, in a way that aligns with your values. Partnerships are where Neptune is for you now, and so there could be some creative inspiration that comes from a significant other person, and this is part of you having the momentum and excitement with Mars in your 11th house to create a community for yourself, to reach out and network. And this could be part of the 6th house activation, that grounding in the material world and with projects and people and service and health, you need a network to work with. And that's Mars in your 11th house that is bringing a lot of momentum to that part of your life. So this is a wonderful time to examine what matters to you about your authentic expression, about fun and creativity, and all these 5th house matters where Pluto is going to really take on these transformations for you. Pluto is an energy that, depending on how it's showing up in your personal chart, if you have 5th house planets or placements, these transformations you are along for the ride. But it's still good to process on a mental level what's going on. And especially when it comes to the 5th house of what is authentically you, it could be it could show up in dating for those of you who that is a part of your life. This is a romantic house. This is a house of true love. This is a house of children. This is a house where we are in a pure essence in some way of our energy. And when we're in a romantic flow or dating, this is the energy of love, and same with children. Same with when we are aligned with fun, we're doing what really matters. Whatever does show up in your life, it is to help you get clear on more love, on more connection with this authentic source of love within you, and what things you do, which people that you hang out with help bring this out more in you or make you feel more diminished in that light. And those will be clues to where this moon is guiding you to go. And really just helping you get where you know you already want to go. But sometimes we get confused by other circumstances, and this is a moment of getting back to what you already knew. Do listen to what other people have to say. Don't take that as the answer, but there are going to be clues in other people's messages that help you get clear on your own creativity and your own connection to Neptune type energy with groups. So that might mean that you're moving towards more spiritual groups, more creative groups, and that these alignments make you feel more like yourself than you have in the past. Especially now with Mercury direct in your 7th house of partnerships and Venus there soon too. Partnerships are going in the direction that you want them to. You have spent time reflecting on what it really means to be yourself and be with another person in whatever partnerships these are. They could be romantic, but they could be work partnerships or any significant people that are in our lives that we get along with or need to get along with, or contracts that we need to deal with. This momentum is going to help that. We've had a lot of retrograde energy since September, October last year. And it has been a period with lots of different planets retrograding and moving direct, where we have been going more inside and figuring out the internal changes. And now we have a good green light for that external change, especially about a week after this new moon. You can really put some stuff in action that you want to see last for a long time, and it very likely will. Thank you so much for being here, Libra. Thank you for watching this video, liking, subscribing. If you would like to process your birth chart with me, I will link my website in the description below. Have a wonderful new moon, and I will see you next time. Hi, Scorpio. This is a partnership new moon for you and a Tsquare. So this is a big new start with partnerships. And this is completely transforming your inner world, your home life. Your career is in a place of high motivation, your status, your reputation. This is where Mars is. For Scorpios, this Tsquare is not happening in your sign, but it is opposing and squaring your sign, and it is in the main quadrants, which are career, reputation, home, inner world, and your significant partnerships. This is a good thing. This is a good change that's moving you towards something that is stable, steady, new, that's going to revolutionize your home and inner world in some way. But you might have some purging to do. With Pluto being activated in your 4th house, you could really feel the emotional waves, and this is a wonderful time to take the time to cry it out if you can, or whatever way that you release. You might feel more anger and frustration with this Mars opposition from career. So something could trigger you about reputation and public image and career that forces you to look at some of the inside stuff that's getting activated and brought to the surface for transformation when we're talking about Pluto. And Mars can put tension on things that is an opportunity for abrupt, quick release and change. And this sets a new stage for your relationships and partnerships. It is this inner processing, or if we're talking about the practical day-to-day world, this is your home. It is the changes here that are helping you along with any changes that you have been wanting to implement when it comes to partnerships. The ruler of your partnership house is Venus, and she is moving forward now. She will be in Taurus in June, I think. I will probably make another video on that because Venus in Taurus is her ruling sign, and she's in good position there. So it's a wonderful time in June to get what we want out of life in whichever parts of our charts are being activated. And for you, it's partnerships. In June, you are also going to have Jupiter move into your 9th house. Jupiter in your 9th house will be more about belief systems and how you view the world, and maybe teachers coming into your life. It could have to do with foreign places, foreign people, but it's about concepts. It's about foreign concepts coming in and changing your perspectives. So June, mark that on your calendar for opportunistic time. But now is when that starts. You're starting to build the momentum towards what you want to see happen in June. And it has a lot to do with the partners in your life. It has a lot to do with children, creative self-expression, which has come up in so many videos for you with all this fifth house activity with Pisces. And it's still there. The nodes are still bringing you into a fated direction with your creative self-expression, with children, with true love. There's big transformation happening on the topics of love and relationships. And it really has to do with getting more clear on what matters to you and what really brings you joy, what really is aligned with authenticity. And if your relationships are not aligned with authenticity right now, then this is a new moon where there could be some big changes there. Neptune is now in your 6th house, and it could really be work and career that is dissolving your daily routine in some way that is part of Mars in your 10th house, creating this radical transformation of public image because of the opposition to Pluto. But routines, though feeling foggy right now, are part of the change of status and career. It looks like a lot of big parts of your life could be wobbling right now, Scorpio, and just keep in mind that it is purposeful for keeping you aligned with what really matters. And you're going to start seeing that fall into place over the next year and a half as we have eclipses in the Virgo Pisces axis. And those are destined karmic points that are keeping you aligned with true love and authenticity and play and being childlike and creative yourself. And with Neptune now in your 6th house, you are wanting to bring that creativity and childlike nature into your daily work, into your health, into your routines. And so these shifts are helping you align with that. And you will see the benefits emerge. This energy could be what you've been looking for, but at the same time, these swift energetic shifts that come from the outside sources and nudge us and push us along. And that can sometimes be uncomfortable change if it's happening to us like it does with squares. But do know that from what I'm seeing in the planets, this is about aligning you with more joy and true love and play down the road. So I hope you are seeing sprinkles and tastes of that already on this journey. Let me know how this is going in the comments below. I love hearing from you there. And this looks like quite big changes for Scorpios out there. If you would like to process more with your chart and see what's going on at a personal level, I will link my website in the description below. Thank you for being here, Scorpio, for watching, liking, subscribing, and I will see you next time. Hi, Sag. This is the 6th house new moon for you. So this is all about health, routines, daily habits, work, the things that you do on a day-to-day basis that support your health and work, that are of service to other people and employees if you have them. But the Tsquare is happening with a Mars Pluto opposition in your 3rd and 9th house axis. So this is communication. This is your belief systems. This is media and spiritual concepts and foreign places, foreign people, teaching, teachers, short distance travel, long distance travel. There's a transformation happening on this 3rd and 9th house axis that has to do with work. So this could be work or employees that are foreign places, foreign people. Communication and media could be changing. It could be that your ideas and your belief systems are on fire with Mars in Leo. You're feeling motivated to learn, to teach, to just expand your mindset and take action in what you believe in. And the 3rd house is media. So you could be transforming your media, your writing, the way that you get your ideas across, the way that you bring these bigger mindset ideas that you are so passionate about, Sagittarius, because the 9th house is your house. It's the classic placement for Sagittarius energy. So it is your domain when it comes to spiritual beliefs and sharing the higher truths of the world. In no matter what you do in life, whatever it is that you are focused on in your life, you have this knowledge and this ability to seek higher wisdom on the topics that you care about. And then the funneling into something that makes sense to other people. So whether that's just having a conversation with your neighbor or a close relative, or having media that reaches overseas clients or people, or just getting your ideas out there, it doesn't matter the scale, it doesn't matter how, but it is a moment like this that helps get those bigger ideas into words that change the scene, into words that help others, into words that just reach other people. And if you're a teacher, this is especially important and helpful, that what you're teaching, the concepts that you embody and the wisdom that you have gets out in some form that makes sense to others. So this new moon is about routines in place, people that you meet and encounter in your day-to-day life, employees. This is exercise classes that we go to, if that is a regular part of our routine. Maybe this is taking on a new spiritual routine that helps your health and helps your communication and helps align with your spiritual beliefs and values, whatever those are becoming these days. Mercury and Venus are now direct, and that's going to have to do with Venus is the ruler of your sixth house. So that direct motion is helping click things into place with your routines and health even more. You've likely been revising those topics when it comes to your work routine, that is, when it comes to your home life and when it comes to children, true love, fun and play, and home and your inner world. That's where Mercury and Venus have been retrograding around, and now moving into where this new moon is by June. And when the ruler of your sixth house, Venus, moves into Taurus in June, that is when you're really going to see things click into place that are starting at this new moon. You'll start to see some of the manifestations of Venus in her own sign. And there's a discipline that you embody when it comes to these work routines that has always helped you out. And this period of time is no different. You're going to feel those routines. This, especially with energy under this moon, they're really going to have that stamina and stability to carry through whatever your higher visions are for where you want to go. Home-related stuff, well, that is just going to take care of itself with the nodes to some degree. You're going through more fated experiences with home and career in the nodal axis. That will carry on in the fall, but we are still under this overarching energy of these bigger themes. For the time of this new moon, this is about communication themes for the big picture with Pluto here. You are deeply transforming communication. And if you've had pain or really big blockages, or you've really seen the dark side of chit chat and media and talk going wrong, you could hold back and withdraw in that part of your life. But this Pluto activation is going to help you purge anything that has been unhealthy with communication and help move in a direction that is going to be the more transformed, helpful, beneficial part of that. There could be some energy at this time with Mars in your ninth house where leaders take on an era of over ego or over dominance in their belief systems. And this could be you as well. So if you see this in other people, this watch for mirroring and watch for opportunities to acknowledge where you feel called to battle out your beliefs and the language you use, and where you feel called to just let go into authority figures and people that you don't necessarily want to give all of your power away to. So there's this dance of balance that is showing up around your personal power and how that comes across in communication and with people, with teachers perhaps, with people who have very loud self-expressions about their belief systems that are really forcing their belief systems on you. And if that shows up, it is about exercising your communication in how you want to handle those situations. But it's also looking at the energy that you embody that stands up and gets and matches theirs. And it can be in the defensive capacity, that if someone is being overly boisterous and strong in their opinions when maybe there's room for things that are not absolute, and you want to express that, but often we unknowingly start to match other people's energy. It'll be a moment like this where you have the opportunity to handle someone else's rigid energy in a way that's different. Fixed energy is combative when faced with another fixed energy, and people don't necessarily get anywhere when there's a lot of stuckness in their opinions and very headstrong. The way through that is going to be to find that nuance of shifting the energy that is going to, by default, want to be matched. So I hope that makes sense. It's like without thinking about it, we are going to show up in the same energy of someone else who's very forceful, whether that is just being another wall or another fixed energy. Being aware of that and then being able to step into a different vibration around someone who's being headstrong could be what's required here and what's really helpful in shifting the default in how we deal with people with differing opinions and challenging opinions and people that are trying to force their opinions on us, which is going to be part of the dance for everyone moving forward. And Sag, you could be taking on leadership in that right now in the experiences that you're going through, that ultimately that will help other people go through those changes too. It could be a lot to take on, but ultimately your daily habits are really going to benefit. You have the motivation and the momentum to carry through big ideas right now and get them out in the day-to-day practical way and really transform your communication in the process. This is all pretty good stuff, Sag. Thank you for being here, for watching, liking, subscribing, and commenting. It's so fun chatting with you in the comments below. And if you would like a one-on-one reading with me, check out my website link and in the description, and I will see you next time. Hi, Capricorn. This is a 5th house new moon for you. So this is a Tsquare that is activating your 5th house, your 2nd house, and your 8th house of values and assets, the foods that you eat, the clothes that you wear, the things that you do to take care of self. And this is also an energetic expression house, the 2nd house, in that, and it is your vocal tone. So if you're a singer, this is in your 2nd house as well. The 5th house, though, is where the new moon is wanting to bring you in alignment with creativity, joy, play, what is authentically you, true love, romantic love. In Mars in the 8th house, there is something about other people's resources that could be severed, that could be more passionate about, that could really something to do with your joy and something to do with your hobbies in the 5th house, your children, your creative self-expression is really being electrified with and set into motion that is stable, strong, dependable, and aligned with your values, aligned with financial support, aligned with things that are going to expand your resources, transform your values, transform your assets. But something might have to go in the process. The 8th house is psychological transformation as well, psychological reversals and healing. So you could be extra focused on psychological transformation. Pluto in your 2nd house could have you upheaving what you value in the process. It could have to do with resources and your mindset around lack and abundance. What does it mean to have a lot of assets and to hold on to those very tightly? Is that really a valuable, abundant energy, or is that causing a restriction of lack and less? Whatever has been with assets and resources is open for transformation. Shared resources could be severed and there could be some adjusting to make. And whatever, if that's the case, then this has to do with aligning with what matters to you. What is really authentic to your ability to experience play and childlike joy and step into a creative self-expression that is very authentic to you. Capricorns especially can get set on the persona that is required to get ahead in life, whether that's relationships or assets, which is the persona that you need to hold on to your valuables, the persona that is required to keep the job that you want to keep, the persona that is required to be a good partner in your family system. Those are all helpful, but they do take away from what is uniquely us and what brings you true joy. Capricorns can disconnect from that more than other signs. So this Tsquare could bring in situations that force you to let go of a persona, let go of a psychological way of being that felt like it kept resources and assets and these financial abundant parts of your life together and going strong, but maybe at the same time it was limiting. Or maybe it doesn't have what it takes to stand the test of time. A Tsquare with fixed signs like this, with a new moon in Taurus, this is about longevity and stability. Taurus is a sign that the fifth house, it trines to your ascendant. This earthly energy of Taurus vibes really well with Capricorn. So that part of the new moon is excellent. This part about getting in touch with who you truly are is a wonderful gem of this energy, but there is some wild change that's being required. You might feel it in the moment of this new moon, or you might have been feeling it leading up to this new moon. This Mars Pluto opposition is a longer opposition that we're going to feel going into May. And then once we get into May and June, we're going to see the benefits start to unfold. But right now is that moment of tension and that moment of realization that things can't go along the way they have been, and something better that feels more authentic to you is going to have room. If you can, this is a great opportunity to really take that time to get in touch with what used to bring you to what play really is to you, to what it means to be in your creative joy and to express in ways that feel really authentic. There's something to do with home that could be dissolving with Neptune in your fourth house now. And this is in beautiful connection with Mars in your eighth house of other people's resources. So there could be something to do with the home place that you grew up in, your family of origin, your actual home. There is an energy of creativity, spiritual connection, and or dissolving that is somehow allowing you to gain resources and support from other people, or allowing part of this psychological transformation. Communication has been an ongoing part of the nodal energy, and I will link my North Node in Pisces video in the description below. This is an overarching energy that is not directly activated by this new moon, but we have had so much emphasis in this part of each of our lives, wherever Pisces falls. And for you, it is the third house of communication, neighbors, siblings, short distance travel. There is an asset here. You've been working on this part of your life, and the communication shifts that you've been working on to really pay off, especially as Mercury moves into Taurus in the fifth house for you, where then communication and authentic self-expression are going to be more tied into one. Right now, you could be mulling that over still in your internal world. And come May and June, you're going to be ready to put that into a creative piece of work of any kind, or you're just going to be able to align your words with what really matters to you and be more you. It's easy for us to get caught in sayings that we hear, popular sayings that we were raised with, that are symbolic of what we're trying to say, but it isn't actually what we're trying to say. And those can get lost in decades and generations of relevance. So it can be helpful to really think about some of the habitual patterns of speech and think about what is genuine and authentic for you, and then you have a better chance of connecting in ways that feel authentic. But there could be so many ways that this shows up. So you let me know, Capricorn. I would love to hear what's going on with you in the comments below. And thank you for being here, liking, subscribing. And if you would like to get a one-on-one reading with me, check out my website link in the description below. I will see you next time. Hi, Aquarius. This is the 4th house new moon for you. So this is a brand new beginning with your inner world, your actual home, but energetically who you are on the inside that not everybody sees. The Tsquare from Pluto and Mars is coming from Pluto in your sign and Mars in your opposite sign of partnerships. This Tsquare looks like partnerships, passion in partnerships, potentially gaining frustration and conflicts and battles coming out in partnerships that are making you question your values and making you reorganize who you are on the inside accordingly. Now, this isn't going to be bending for someone else necessarily, but it is through conflict with another person that you start to realize where maybe you are not aligned with your values. The values piece comes from all of this energy in Pisces, the North Node. We have just had Venus and Mercury retrograde back into Pisces and now moving direct and on its way to Aries. Mercury's already there. So there's fire in the communication piece, additionally, because of Mercury and Aries. And so there are all these hot pieces for you. And when it comes on the angles of self and another person and your home and who you are and the depths of your inner world, that can really create some big quakes that help you shift into something that you've already been wanting and helping you become more aware of values that maybe have been elusive. And values when it comes to Pisces, when it comes to that which is dissociated from the rest of the world and energetic and our connection to all things. Spiritual and energetic values will be a big focus. And this has to do with assets and money and your belongings as well. Neptune in your 3rd house is in trine with Mars in your 7th. This adds a layer of creativity and spiritual focus to the conversations that you are having with other people. This could be sometimes with Neptune a miscommunication and a misunderstanding when it comes to passions. But because it's a trine, it's a positive, helpful energy. So I don't see it necessarily being it doesn't necessarily mean a confusion that stays, but it might be a confusion that triggers passion in a heated situation that then ends up being really positive resolution. Or it could just be that focusing more on the spiritual process and creativity and your expression of such things is really going to help you in whatever passions or conflicts arise with other people. Jupiter is also squaring the nodes right now in your 2nd and 8th house. So that adds even more emphasis to resources and values. And with a Jupiter square, that is often an energy of overdoing things. So you could be overspending. You could be using other people's resources to a point that is using something that someone has given to you, taking advantage. You could be just spending money on things that actually don't matter to you, and it's time to recalibrate those resources, whether they are financial or energetic. The same thing applies if you are spending energy with people and on things that actually don't fit where you're going in life and what you want out of life. This new moon is about home, and this new moon is about the core of who you are above all of these other factors. It's just that these are all playing an important role in something that you're transforming about how you were raised, the defaults that you gain in life, and how you choose something different other than what you were raised to do or believe to think or subconsciously act because of your family lineage. And with the fourth house, especially on the mother's side, but this is family lineage in general, about where you came from. This could be the town that you came from, the home that you came from, or your current home. I love the quote that wisdom is the choices that we make that are different than our innate instincts to do something. That is going to be an overlying message, I think, for what is playing out in your life and how to navigate any of these swift changes that show up in your life. What is it that you truly want? And what is it that is going to create evolution and satisfaction as well as security? Taurus in your fourth house can have you feeling more rigid and fixed in the qualities that are innately you, rather than making those more challenging choices for change. There can be a sense of everything's just fine because it's stable and it's not rocking the boat and it's not creating conflict. But this is a moment where things could erupt and create a sense of instability. And then you might just think, well, might as well change one or two or three of these things while we're at it, because this is feeling, what was stable is feeling a sense of instability. Or because this always plays out in different ways for different people's chart, this could be something that comes in very quickly, suddenly, changes your relationships, changes your home, but adds a layer of stability, adds something new in that process that makes you feel more stable and nourishes that Taurus quality in the fourth house for you. Let me know how this plays out for you, Aquarius. I would love to hear from you in the comments below. And if you would like to process more of this with your personal chart with me, I will leave my website link in the description. Thank you so much for being here, liking, subscribing, and I will see you next time. Hi, Pisces. This is a third house new moon for you. So this is a new way of communication, expression, media, short distance travel, transportation in some cases, siblings, close relatives. But the square is coming from your 12th house and your 6th house. This axis where Pluto and Mars are in opposition is the historical place of Pisces in the 12th house, the classic position. And the 6th house is Virgo and work and practicality. So in the Pisces realm, we have your connection to all things, that which is unseen, hidden. Secrets could come to light, or you could embark on trying to track down something hidden out of necessity and need for work, maybe for employees in the 6th house, for health routines, your daily activities. On this axis of 6 and 12, there is a sense of bringing what is intangible into something practical, service-oriented, and tangible. And because of the Tsquare with your third house in this new moon, I suspect that there is going to be a challenge that helps you articulate what it is that you pick up on a subconscious connection to all things level, and how you put that into work through your articulation, through your writing, through media, or through health. How do you manage this connection to the unseen realm, rest, work, life, the way that you energetically express yourself? There's going to be a question of, is this draining? Am I resting enough? Is this service actually helpful? In an actual literal way, the 12th house can have to do with hospitals, prisons, time away from society, forced rest. In the material realm, the essence is the same. It is a period of a time out and a period of prayer and connection to whatever energetic bodies are out there. This is a time where we rely on guidance from energy, and the physical healing, the physical tasks, they all come in the 6th house. These are going to play really important roles in this new moon. That, and you are recalibrating what it means to balance energy into yourself still. The North Node is in your sign. Saturn is still there. Neptune has moved on to your second house. And the fog that you may have had around your self-identity is solidifying. You're starting to face more of the Saturnian challenges head on, and you're building a concrete definition of who you are in the world and how you're going to show up in a more practical, physical sense. Mars in your sixth house is in communication with Neptune, who's now just moved on in a lovely trine to your second house of values. So someone at work or in your daily activities or inflammatory illness, something of this sixth house condition with Mars could create an event that needs your attention, and sorting through what you value is going to be a piece of this. It's actually going to be one of the more helpful pieces with Neptune there. It could have to do with your spiritual values. And that is a piece in this energetic soup to lean on if you feel chaos or events changing quickly around you. What is it that you value at an energetic, spiritual connection to all things? What is it that you value with using your energy or not using your energy in a certain situation, and how much energy is being dispersed? Mercury is here in your second house too, so you could also express these things in a situation of tension with work, health, coworkers, because that is where the square is coming from. As well as your fourth house, Jupiter is moving into a square with the nodes on your first and seventh house. So there's something to do with home and inner world that is expanding, that might be creating tension with partnerships, that might be creating the right mix of tension to make you question who you are at the core, who you are in your outward persona, and do those match up? It could be that you are expanding connection to the core of who you are, the family that you came from. The persona in the first house that you give off is up for transformation. Now, Neptune is your ruler too. So Neptune in trine with Mars could be a boost of energy that helps you get things done at work, that helps you put your values into your health routines, your work routines, your daily routines, because Mars is the ruler of your second house and Neptune, the ruler of your first house. Those are what are in positive angle. And it's a burst. It's not a longer transit. It will extend before and after this moon. And it is going to be an asset in the house of assets. You do have what it takes to put energy into whatever changes or dynamics show up. Some pieces could feel hidden, but this is about doing your best to get the media right, get your expression right, get yourself out there, and translate what you are picking up on energetically into something material, practical, helpful, and of service, and that really connects with you, your values, who you are. There's going to be question of balancing the functional, but it has to really matter with the energy that's lit up here for you. And you're finding that that's what gives you strength when you're dissipating energy out in the world. That if you are aligned with what matters to you and you're firm about that, then the energy won't be lost. You'll gain it back because you'll see that it's positively feeding into something that is important. And then that joy of aligning with what's important to you gets fed back. But let me know ultimately how this is showing up for you, Pisces. I would love to hear from you in the comments below. It's always so much fun chatting there. But thank you just for being here, for watching, subscribing. And if you would like to process more with a one-on-one Zoom reading with your chart with me, I will link my website in the description below. Have a wonderful new moon, and I will see you next time. Hi, Aries. This is the second house new moon for you. So your focus is going to be on resources, assets, what you value. What is it that really matters to you that you want to grow and put energy in? How do you nourish and feed your body? The clothes that you wear to express yourself and the sound and the tone of your voice? These topics are going to be receiving some friction from your creative self-expression, where Mars is in your 5th house, and your 11th house of friends and networks, where Pluto is coming in to completely transform and create an upheaval with how you connect in the world. Some of the people could stay the same, but you're going to start to see transformations with Pluto in the 11th house around what some of the way to get to your ideal of community and connection means breaking through and transforming some of the hidden shadow sides of connection. There could be themes of jealousy, comparison, competitiveness with groups, and a superiority energy that comes with trying to innovate in the best possible ways and whose ideas are best. This can come out on the internet. And with the 5th house, you are fired up and feeling passionate about your creative projects, about children, about play, dating, romance, hobbies. But it's coming into a Tsquare with this new moon in your 2nd house. So that means that all of these topics, what it comes down to is a reset of your values, a reset of how you spend your money, and you're going to be really questioning what needs to go and what can stay. With a Mars square, you might actually completely sever one of your values, maybe around children, maybe around what it is to be creatively expressive and what it is to be authentic. And maybe some of your values of authenticity and having real fun need to shift before you can allow more of that 5th house energy to open up. You have just been graced with Neptune in your sign. How does it feel? You could feel a little foggier. You could feel a little more dissociated and wanting to spend time in a dreamlike state. You could feel more like creating dreamlike time so that you can fantasize and think about what you want to energetically create. You could feel more creative. You could start to feel more in touch with spirituality of some kind, with a type of energetic embodiment that we sometimes call God or other figures like that. It's going to show up in many different ways for lots of people. You might not even fully feel it or process it yet, but I wanted to mention that because there's a trine with Mars in your 5th house to this Neptune that has just moved into your sign. And that is a fiery activation of this Neptune. It is reigniting a spiritual passion potentially, or a creative passion. And the energy around this moon is asking, how do you get it out into a material, tangible, functional, secure place? Taurus in the 2nd house is about security. And that is going to be an underlying theme as you question and discover and go on a journey with some of these other topics like community, creative expression. And how do you tap into that creativity? With the North Node in your 12th house, the nodal axis being 6th and 12th, you are moving away from work of service and moving more towards this creative, spiritual connection. The recent retrograde with Venus and Mercury could have brought you back to some of those spiritual meditative topics, made you feel a new sense of connection to all things. And now it's time to get that into a form of expression that works for you, that aligns with your values. And it maybe is this time of reflection that you've had with Mercury and Venus in your 12th house. We have had so much solidifying Piscean energy lately. And for you, that is the house of Pisces, the 12th house. And so this, I think, is resetting your values, whatever connections you've been doing over the last few months and thinking about retreat, faraway places, maybe things that you were hidden and unseen before are coming to light. And very likely this has to do with a connection to a spiritual form of some kind. A lot of Aries out there are going to embark on a real spiritual process for the next 14 years with Neptune in your sign. And there's a sense of leadership from Aries signs that is going to be part of a spiritual expansion moving forward. And this is a moment where you're starting to step into something to do with that. You're starting to get this hit that this is something you value and this is something you want to be a part of, that you have exciting things to offer with Mars in your 5th house, that you're feeling really passionate about how you can creatively express some of the spiritual things that are coming to you. This is a moment where you're probably just figuring out how to get the resources for it, how to expand on resources so that this can be well supported in a stable way as you create and refine your communities and the other areas that are lit up. Jupiter in your 3rd house could have your communication quite heightened. This can also have to do with neighbors, cousins, siblings, short distance travel, but I like to speak about it as a communication house in essence. And Jupiter is squaring the nodes shortly after this new moon. There's always a sense of overdoing with Jupiter squares. Overdoing communication, being misunderstood, more coming to you than you can fully process in this moment. But this will just be a recalibration piece. And maybe you're getting news that creates sudden changes that allows you to do overseas work or a retreat of some kind or rest. There are a lot of different ways that could show up with the Jupiter square, but just watch for that if there is some conflict with media or communication or writing or neighbors, some overdoing of sorts. This has to do with the direction that the nodes are taking you into a more spiritual, psychic, intuitive process, and think of the energetic connection to all things rather than what is just being said at a practical level. And that should help guide you through whatever is showing up there. Ultimately healing with Jupiter always, so that it's going to help refine and rework and heal your communication and your ability to express if there are any wounds there. If you would like to know how this shows up with your personal chart, I will link my website in the description below. It's so much fun seeing you guys for readings and knowing that there are people on the other side of this. And thank you for commenting and being here and watching this video. It really means so much. And have a wonderful new moon. I will see you next time. Hi, Taurus. This is your new moon. This is a fresh start for who you are as a person, what you value, what you believe in, what you want to align with. Everything Taurus as well. So what makes you feel secure? What makes you feel stable? What makes you feel steady and making progress, but yet comfortable and enjoying the pleasures of life, connecting with nature, connecting with love in all of its forms. That can be with other people, but with Taurus, it's about the 5 senses. It's what you take in from the garden. It is what you enjoy with food that is nourishing and healthy and yet delicious and savory and that you truly can sit down and enjoy. This is also birthday season for many of you Tauruses out there. So happy birthday, and hope that part of that pleasure is coming from your birthday cake and whatever else that really aligns you with the feeling of love and appreciation for this human expression. And that is the love that Taurus rules in astrology, is that it is the love for the earth, the love for this human experience, the love for material, physical, natural things that show up. It is the connection to Mother Nature, especially trees, forests, land, and everything that comes of that. So that is why it's what we take in with the five senses. It's that walking through the garden can be such a sensual experience of our feet on the earth and the smells in the air, the temperature of the air, and the sun on your skin. This is the season in the Northern Hemisphere where we are warming up, and this is why this is Taurus's season. It is the time of blooms and earth coming alive again. So these are all going to be important themes on this new moon, as well as anything that you want to create for the year ahead. And there's something that's coming from home and career, home and status, inner world and outer world reputation. This is what's creating friction to this new moon in the Tsquare. Pluto and Mars in opposition are potentially creating tension with your home life and your public life. There could be something to do with your public image that is transforming, and the Mars in your fourth house, this can create inflammatory problems at home. This can cause inflammatory problems in your body when it's your fourth house. But this is just the core of who you are. And you might be getting in touch with what you're really passionate about or with what lights you up. And maybe that comes through a moment of frustration. And with tension through the fourth and the 10th house, the polarization there is about what is on the inside as the truest form, and how does the rest of the world see that? How does that affect your status and your reputation? With Leo in the fourth house, you have a certain amount of autonomy as a Taurus. That's part of what creates a stability, an image of stability with the Taurus figure. So Leo in the fourth house is fiery and self-assured. It is brave, and how much of this brave energy is turning into friction and conflict, maybe at work, a career, because of the public image part. There's something that might need to shift with your persona and what you show other people to create a healthier alignment. And you might be facing some of your own frustration with Mars in the fourth house, whether that's at home or your inner world or both. It could be triggered by home. It could be triggered by family-related issues. And the other side of Mars, what we're balancing out with the different layers to Mars is passion. It's motivation, is inspiration, what really lights you up. And there's a need for transformation of what came from the family that you were raised by, your upbringing, what was innate and given to you, rather than what you choose to live by in this world when it comes to passion and self-expression, when it comes to your creative self-expression, when it comes to what aligns you with joy and play and children and hobbies, that childlike quality that's in all of us. That is Leo in the fourth house. So any friction that comes up, keep these things in mind. Keep in mind that your public image is recalibrating to match what's on the inside, and that on a Taurus new moon, you can start creating and dreaming anything that you want in the years to come. This is a time of planting seeds and setting intention and getting really clear on who you are, and action will come. Wait at least a week before you're taking big action on any of your plans, but keep this seeding moment. Go and get the supplies and make a plan and daydream and see what comes up and moves into fruition, often 6 months from now when you have your Taurus full moon. I do see heightened spiritual, intuitive connection. There could be more rest, more desire to spend time alone to connect spiritually. Neptune is now in your 12th house, which is going to create even more fog at times, more of a dissociation and separation. But it's through that search, through Neptune, that you are getting especially positive energy for this Mars in your fourth house right now. So lean on intuition, lean on time alone, overseas places, retreats, hospitals, prisons, though that hospitals and prisons definitely won't be for everyone. But the point is that this is energy that is encouraging time alone. And the fourth house can do that too. This is where you're really going inward. Even though this energy is a reset for that persona and how other people view you, your body is included in this. This might be a moment of rest at this new moon. And it is sometimes through busyness that we cannot be as connected to the truth. And in its times of rest, especially forced rest, I don't see that being the case here, but it could be for some of you, just because there's a lot of forced energy with the squares happening. And if that happens, it is just so that you can get more clear on how you feel on the inside about things and what really matters to you. With this question of values, Jupiter is here in your second house to expand your assets. And there is a square from Jupiter to your 5th and 11th house right now, which is the networks and communities that you're a part of. Do they align with your creative self-expression? It seems that there's something that might be axed and leaving about your creative self-expression right now, and that's going to help you merge more with like-minded people. That there's something from your past that you thought was most authentic to you and you thought was your creative expression, but that isn't quite fitting for where you see yourself going. And it could be through networks and communities that you start to develop a new sense of, I want that. I want what they have, and I'm going to choose that for myself moving forward. That looks secure. That looks fun. That looks like more enjoyment of life and this human embodied experience. So look to communities and networks to get your inspiration, but do spend time on your own to really go inward and see what this Taurus year ahead is for you. Thank you so much for being here, Taurus. Thank you for watching, liking, subscribing, and chatting with me in the comments below. It's all really so much fun. And if you would like a birthday reading, solar returns can be a fun layer to add to birth chart readings this time of year. And that is essentially the chart in the sky at the time that the sun returns to the exact degree that it was on the day that you were born, is another chart that we layer and see how it's influencing your birth chart and what the snapshot of the year ahead looks like for you, as well as other techniques we can add too. So hope to see you there. My website will be linked in the description below, and enjoy your new moon. Happy birthday. And I will see you next time. Hi, Gemini. This is the 12th house new moon for you. So this could be a time of rest. This is often a time of inward, more quiet contemplation before your birthday season, where you might feel a bit more fatigued as the wheel is resetting, as the sun is coming back into your sign for your birthday season. But the 12th house is that cosmic womb. It is where energy is recalibrated at a subconscious, hidden, quiet level. You could have more of a beginning that it's a start to more spiritual connection, more rest, overseas places, retreats. Something that's hidden right now could come to light later on that has a lot of importance. The Tsquare is coming from your 3rd and 9th house axis. So this really looks like belief systems, spiritual processes. The 9th house is about our spiritual wisdom, the way that we view the world to operate as an all-encompassing place of wonder and a learning ground. That's what the 3rd and 9th house axis is it is learning. The 3rd house is elementary school education. The 9th house is academia and higher level learning, spiritual learning. The 3rd house is also communication and expression and our day-to-day mind and how we use that to work for us. In this case, there's going to be some tension building that makes you look at all of these topics differently. And I think for a lot of you, it is going to have a lot to do with your connection to spiritual worlds that we exist in and how you talk about that on a daily basis. Maybe something in media comes your way and you find a new teacher and this stuff just happens to you. You weren't looking, you might not even see it right now. Someone could come into your life that in 6 months from now, you could look back and say, hey, yeah, that was the moment where my mind started to open up to what else is out there. What else is out there in a non-tangible, unseen, but can be felt way. What connects us to all things? That's the 12th house as well. Neptune is in your 11th house, and Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. It is the historical ruler of the 12th house. So some overlying topics when it comes to intuition and spirituality, dissolving, connection to all things. It is now in your 11th house of networks and community and in beautiful angle to Mars in your 3rd house of communication, close relatives, siblings. This is also the day-to-day mind. So it does look like more creative energy is coming from online sources, from community, from networks. And it could be that what you are putting out there is going out into a spiritual form that is reaching the masses, and 11th house is marketplace. So you could be selling spiritual concepts and programs to other people. But this is just the beginning. So it could be that just watch for ideas, watch for people and ideas that come at you, which you always do. Gemini, that's your superpower, is listening and getting ideas and enriching your own mental expansion from that of other people. And this new moon is going to be a lot of that. And it could be that you are putting material out into the world that has a big impact. With Mars in your 3rd house, you're motivated to communicate. You're motivated to write and express in an authentic way. And if that is you, then this has the potential to reach a lot of people and really matter in the spiritual transformation and the belief systems that people have around these things. With Pisces being your 10th house, you could be very visible right now for these topics. People could be looking to you for intuitive guidance and a spiritual connection. And if it's not right now, we're continuing to have eclipses on this axis in the fall and into next spring. So this story has the potential, this has more to go, more to unfold with the 10th house activation. But Jupiter is expanding that from your sign right now. So soon after this new moon, Jupiter is going to square the nodes and create a layer of growth where you need to let go and transform things around home and inner world, and where there's more to expand into showing the world who you are. For some of you, it looks like there's been so much knowledge gathered, and it's really time to share that and make sense of it and help other people make sense of it. Your ruler is now in Aries in your 11th house, which is Mercury. So that gives you extra fire for this self-expression and getting your ideas out there. And Venus is direct now in your 10th house. So topics of love, you've gone through some sorting of that. It is also the ruler of this moon in the 12th house. So love and this divine energetic connection could go together. And it can be love in the romantic sense, but this could also be love for the worldly experience, for the human experience, love for security and material things, and the love that is all around us. So all planets direct now. What a wonderful signature to have for your birthday. There's going to be wonderful energy this June, and that is going to trickle into what your solar return chart looks for you for the year ahead. If you would like to look at your chart and have a personal Zoom reading with me, I will link my website in the description below. It's so fun to see you there, and chatting in the comments below. Let me know how this is showing up for you, because the 12th house it's always an elusive one. So it's hard to talk about. It's hard to pin down, but if you have a sense of how this is showing up, I would love to hear it. And just thank you for being here, watching, liking, subscribing, and I will see you next time. Hi, Cancer. This is an 11th house new moon for you. So this is all about friends, networks, community, long-held wishes coming true. This is a house of connecting to everything around us and marketplace, the money that you earn from the work that you do. With a Tsquare from your 2nd and 8th house, where Mars is in your 2nd and Pluto is in your 8th, this is about your resources, what you value, how other people support you, how you support yourself in the 2nd house. It is the energy that you expend to get along with people and the energy that they expend to get along with you. It is the energy and the way that we merge as partners. So the 1st and the 7th house is you and partner, and then the 2nd and the 8th house is that energetic merging. It can be deeply transformational in the 8th house. It can be resources and finances. It can just be how much energy you give. There is going to be a situation of tension that shows up with these 3 parts of your life. So it could be resources and friends and the way that they have supported you, or resources from communities and networks. You either are going to be changing a type of support, or you're going to be realizing what really matters to you with what you value and recalibrating the energy exchange between people and between these communities and networks that you're a part of as well. Venus and Mercury are going direct in your 9th and 10th house. Mercury is in your 10th. So you could be seen as more chatty and expressive. Venus going direct in your 9th is getting you more clear on your spiritual purpose and alignment, the things that you believe about how the world works. It doesn't have to be spiritual, but I think it looks that way with Pisces in your 9th house for a lot of you. You could be spiritual teachers or teaching something quite spiritual, or just about the energy of the world, the things that we don't see. Pisces also rules oceans and gases and substances that alter our minds and bodies. And Venus rules your 11th house and your 4th house for you, Libra. So Venus is the ruler of this new moon, and her forward momentum in your 9th house is pretty strong. It is that what you think about the world, how you feel about the world, your connection to your intuition about how the world works. This is impacting your connections. And you've been thinking about this for the last couple of months, and now Venus is taking some action, or at least is clear on what that looks like and how it will affect your communities, as well as your inner world and home through Libra in your 4th house. For you, this is about how to make these places more cozy, more nurturing, more comfortable, more Venusian, so you get pleasure out of your communities and your home. But as a Cancer, you want the security of the pleasure. And that's really what aligns you well with Taurus. And that's what you are going to be seeking in these networks. So whether they provide that for you now or not, you're going to be seeing more of those layers. And in 6 months' time from now, when we have a full moon in Taurus, you might see more of the manifestation of the changes that you want to implement. But it starts now. Neptune is also in your 10th house, and there's a beautiful trine between Mars in your 2nd and Neptune in your 10th, which is a new transit to have Neptune in your 10th. So this is, again, this could be spiritual leadership for some of you. This could be that there's some fog around how you want to present yourself in the public. Maybe some of you are stepping into the public eye in a new way or for the first time, and there is some focus and energy that you need to put into what does that mean for you. As a Cancer, your default is to hide the sweet spots, is to protect and nurture the best parts of you. And that is a wonderful quality that you have to share and gift the rest of the world to be more like, that we all can be more protective of those rich parts of ourselves that we don't want other people to judge or take away or threaten. But there can be a coldness to that too, or a disconnect, which is counterproductive to the connection and the family bonding that Cancerians so deeply want. So the opportunity to be more seen in the public eye or to renegotiate your visibility is an opportunity to connect more with other people, to feel more deeply bonded with those that you consider family. This could be a moment of tension that helps bring this to the forefront of your mind, where you're starting to realize that you can show a little more and other people will lead. And that's going to get you to where you want to be with the connections with others. And transforming your intimacy with Pluto being activated in your 8th house. When you have Aquarius in the 8th house, there's a sense of coldness to the depth of your intimacy there too. And it's not true coldness. I want to correct that. It is more about fine on your own. You're comfortable in your unique sense of who you are, and you don't need to feed that off of anyone else or go to those depths of that can sometimes seem needy and unprotected. But something's transforming here with your deepest bonds as well when it comes to what intimacy means to you and what it means to be more transparent and blend and merge at times with other people. And that's with Neptune on your angle of your 10th house right now. Neptune blends and merges, and you could be doing that in the public eye, and that could be showing you more of what you can bring into more intimate bonds. And intimate bonds, home life could become more public as Venus tours through Aries for the next month. So that's just a little side piece of energy that some of you could feel. I think the purpose here is deepening your connections, more intimacy, more depth of bonding. You have already done the work to self-protect and you know how to step into that. So you can default to that whenever you need to, whenever you want to, but you are going to be considering tipping your toes into something that feels more vulnerable and something that is all that much more rewarding in the end. And your values might shake a little, your assets, your resources from other people, and your support. And that's all part of knowing that you will get it back. Security is still going to be there, even if it feels a bit rocky at moments. And it's there that there's more trust that can develop in that sense of security, and then being vulnerable and opening up in ways that feel less secure are more accessible and less scary. Something like that. You let me know, Cancer, how this is showing up for you. Would love to hear from you in the comments below. And if you would like to process more of this with a one-on-one reading with me, and I do live Zoom calls for that, the link will be in the description below. But thank you for just being here, for watching, liking, subscribing, and have a wonderful new moon. I'll see you next time.